Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us at 7. I'm Tracey McCain.
I'm Nuclo. You're watching Eyewitness News here on the Wax. A lot to talk about this morning. And we do want to get your morning ready, get you out the door. So let's say good morning to meteorologist Gilardi for a check on that forecast. It's a nice start out there.
It is. Good morning. And Tracey, you were off yesterday, but I was showing off the birds.
Oh.
We can detect them on radar. How cool is that? These are all swallows leaving their roost, and something we get to see this time of year. But no rain. This is not rain, but that's how cool the radar is, what it's able to detect bugs and birds and things like that. So yeah, just some high level clouds this morning can lead to, beautiful sunrises or sunsets like the one we had yesterday. Oh my goodness. 60 right now in New Haven, 55 in Hartford, a little chillier up towards, Pittsfield, Mass, but we're not there. So yeah, we have temperatures starting off above average out the door this morning. May briefly need the long sleeve before, yes, we warm up pretty substantially heading into the rest of the day, and you'll need your sunglasses at times today because eventually those clouds will thin on out. So for the kiddos heading out to the bus stop, yeah, the long sleeve that you will not need as the day progresses. Probably not even lunch and recess with low 70s at that point in time and upper 70s to near 80 degrees, about 10 degrees above average for this time of year, especially if we hit 80 degrees, since 70 is the normal. Enjoy this little last taste of summer, at least for the next few days, because after today, we're giving you a first alert for cooler weather. The big question is, will it get cold enough for frost to form? We'll talk more about that in detail, especially if you have any plants you want to still be alive by the end of this week. It sounds very spooky, right? As we head into October. All right, another update in your forecast at about 15. Let's get an update on traffic, though, with Caitlin.
All right, thanks, Jill. Good morning, everyone. It is 7:02 here on your Tuesday. Just waking up with us on the Wax. We do appreciate that. Getting ready to head out the door, heading to work, bringing the kids to school or the bus stop. Majority of the state looking good. We're seeing some normal delays. You can see some of those here through Hartford. This is 91 southbound as you're merging onto 84 here with that delay. A live look outside in Middletown along Route 9, doing very well as you're approaching the light here. A live look outside in Waterbury, 84 east and westbound by the Mixmaster, and here in Meriden along 691 east and westbound. So a couple of areas that we tend to see a lot of daytime construction. Right now it still looks like it is quiet, but again, that daytime construction will be abundant. There's a lot of it scattered basically all across the state, so expect some delays through those active work zones. Watch out for traffic pattern changes, lane closures, all those kinds of good things. Remember, the law here in Connecticut is to slow down and move over in the presence of those vehicles out on the roadways. All right, no crashes though at this time, which is great. Your drive time's looking pretty typical, 35-minute ride into Hartford and about a 100-minute ride down through Fairfield County by 95 southbound towards the George Washington Bridge. That's a check at your Connecticut Chevy First Alert traffic report driven by your Connecticut Chevy dealers.
Well, this morning, homes and businesses in Waterbury that lost water pressure yesterday should still boil their water while the city waits for test results to make sure it's safe. Those results are expected by tonight. Water service was restored around 7 o'clock last night after crews repaired last week's water main break on Huntington Avenue. It took a few more hours for water to come back for some in the higher elevations on the east side of the city.
This is a big story for parents. A strike for school bus drivers and bus monitors set to start tomorrow has been postponed.
More than 100 drivers and monitors in Middletown and Cromwell were ready to start a picket line, but agreed to extend their contract negotiations. Your reporter Anna Stansfield explains what happens next.
This is just a postponement, and if the bus drivers union as well as the bus company can't come to an agreement by next Monday, we could see those picket lines starting to form early next week. The current contract bus drivers and monitors are under expired back in July. Since then, they've been operating under the same terms, but now they want things to change. Right now, they're demanding better wages and union health care for all drivers from their employer, DATCO. They're hoping to come to an agreement, but if they can't by Sunday at midnight, the strike will be back on come Monday morning. It's also important to note that if they can't reach an agreement soon, this could start impacting other DATCO bus yards across the state, including East Hartford, Bloomfield, and Windsor. I'm your reporter in Middletown, Anna Stansfield, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.
Well, this morning, First Student Bus Company says it's working to get students in New Britain to and from school safely each day.
Yeah, a number of parents have raised concerns here, including one mother who says her son with autism was driven an hour in the wrong direction. Your reporter Taylor Knight explains the company's plan to prevent similar issues.
First Student says that they did hire more bus drivers, but some of them are from out of state. That means they may not be familiar with our local roads here, and state law says that bus drivers cannot use their cell phones for GPS. A First Student spokesperson responded to concerns from the New Britain Board of Education last night. A company spokesperson said that they've hired 22 more drivers. Some have even been brought in from Rhode Island and Louisiana and are being housed at local hotels. Since these drivers may not be familiar with our roads, First Student will soon be giving them tablets with directions so they know where they're going. First Student says that drivers have been using paper directions because state law says that bus drivers cannot use their phones for GPS navigation. But it does allow for devices that cannot make calls or send text messages to be used, which is why the company will soon be providing those tablets. Drivers will be getting those tablets sometime in October. Until then, the company says that they are looking to hire even more bus drivers. Your reporter in New Britain, Taylor Knight, Channel 3, Eyewitness News.
Well, today the U.S. Senate is expected to vote again on a short-term spending bill with the deadline to avoid a government shutdown less than 24 hours away. The Senate rejected the proposal earlier this month after it passed the House. Vice President J.D. Vance says he expects a shutdown after President Trump's meeting with congressional leaders from both parties yesterday. Democrats say they will not pass a spending bill unless cuts to federal health care cuts are restored. And today, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro will explain why Democrats are concerned about those cuts to health care that were included in the domestic policy bill that President Trump signed back in July. She says families in our state will have to pay thousands of dollars more in health care costs and says both parties must work together to change that.
Come to the table. Let's negotiate. I've had the pleasure of doing that for a number of years with my Republican colleagues. It can get done again.
About 150,000 people in our state are enrolled in state health care and could be impacted. We'll have a closer look at how the shutdown could impact you throughout the day here.
Right now, Hamas is reviewing a plan from the United States to restore peace with Israel. It calls for the release of all the remaining hostages and includes information or the formation of a temporary Palestinian committee to govern Gaza. President Trump met with Israel's prime minister yesterday amid growing calls for the war to end. Today, we're expecting to learn more about the investigation into the deaths of two men found in a burning car in Oxford last year. Both of their deaths are ruled homicides. That new information is expected around 10 this morning. You can stay with us on the WFSB app throughout the day for updates. Well, today, there are private funeral services for William Myers, a student from Fairfield who was found dead in a stadium on the Ohio State University campus Friday. The university says his death is not considered suspicious. Counseling services are available to students who need support.
Well, this morning, you'll soon have one fewer airline to choose from when you book a flight out of Bradley International Airport. Spirit is ending service there in about a month as the airline restructures after filing for bankruptcy. The airline offers flights to 5 destinations, including Fort Lauderdale and Myrtle Beach, but other airlines fly to those destinations from Bradley.
This morning, organizers of one of the largest outdoor Asian food festivals are reviewing complaints from people who tried to go over the weekend.
Yeah, attendees of Panda Fest in Hartford took to social media to share a lot of problems about overcrowding.
Apparently, people bought tickets for certain time slots, but some say people were not asked to leave once their time expired, and others said they couldn't get into the event at all.